In the beginning of the debate, you had both Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders going after Michael Bloomberg aggressively and successfully, but Pete Buttigieg decided to go in a different direction. Let's watch.
We've got to wake up as a party. We could wake up 2 weeks from today, the day after Super Tuesday, and the only candidates left standing will be Bernie Sanders and Mike Bloomberg, the two most polarizing figures on this stage. And most Americans don't see where they fit if they've got to choose between a socialist who thinks that capitalism is the root of all evil and a billionaire who thinks that money ought to be the root of all power. Let's put forward somebody who actually lives and works in a middle-class neighborhood in an industrial Midwestern city. Let's put forward somebody who's actually a Democrat. Look. To choose between one candidate who wants to burn this party down and another candidate who wants to buy this party out. Look, we can do better.
There's Buttigieg debuting his new stubble, but at the same time,
he's going to be a Ted Cruz someday.
I'm all grown up, guys. I have stubble.
So he decided to go after both Bloomberg and Bernie, but Bloomberg was like sedated throughout this entire debate. He didn't really respond. Bernie did though, so let's watch.
If speaking to the needs and the pain of a long neglected working class is polarizing, I think you got the wrong word. What we are trying finally to do is to give a voice to people who after 45 years of work are not making a nickel more than they did 45 years ago. We are giving a voice to people who are saying we are sick and tired of billionaires like Mr. Bloomberg seeing huge expansions of their wealth while 500,000 people sleep out on the street tonight. And that's what we are saying, Pete, is maybe it's a time for the working class of this country to have a little bit of power in Washington rather than your billionaire campaign contributors.
All right, look, first of all,
I know.
Is fueled by hundreds of thousands of contributors,
including 26 billionaires.
Among the hundreds of thousands of contributors. And look, we've got to unite this country to deal with these issues. You're not the only one who cares about the working class. Most Americans believe we need to empower workers. As a matter of fact, you're the one who is at war with the culinary union right here in Las Vegas.
We are more union support than you have ever dreamed of.
That was good. That was good, and it was true. And right after that, Warren came in for the kill. But let's discuss before we get to her clip.
Yeah, when he says you're not the only one who cares about the working class, that's framing it in a way that Bernie Sanders should love, because it makes it seem like he's the only one that cares about the working class. So Buttigieg seems defensive about that because he should be. Bernie said it's about time that the working class in this country had a little bit of power. Now, you never hear that out of Democrats. They're always like apologetic about using power. The Republicans are always like, yes, we will use our power to crush you. The rich should have everything. And Democrats are like, well, I don't want to offend the rich. Here it's like, no, the working class should have power. It almost feels dangerous, right? Like, yeah, a little bit of danger, right?
I want to be a bad girl.
That's right. No, seriously, what do I mean by that? Like, my whole life I've seen Democrats cower and etc. And what if we were actually the ones that actually stood up for people and stood up for ourselves? And in the past, it would have seemed dangerous, like, oh my God, I can't wait. Are we allowed to stand up for working class people? The answer is yes, yes you are. So when Buttigieg said that he would burn this party down, I think it made him really unlikable, not just for us, yes, we support Bernie Sanders, but I think the average person sitting at home was like, nah, it seems a bit much, right? I mean, he just won in Iowa and New Hampshire. You're saying all those Democratic voters, and he's leading by 12 points nationally. You're saying all those Democratic voters want to burn the party down? Nah, that seems ridiculous.
Right.
And he came back with 45 years wages haven't gone up. Thank you. Finally somebody talking about it. To be fair, Bernie's really good at talking about that. He's the one that's 45 years our wages haven't gone up. That's what's killing this country. And he seems like he is the guy fighting for all those Americans who did not have their wages go up. And that is awesome framing. Yeah. So even though Elizabeth Warren won the debate overall, Bernie might have won the presidency tonight because everybody treated him as the leader of this group and the guy that's clearly fighting for the average American. You can't ask for better than that.
And his framing and messaging has consistently gotten better throughout this campaign. I think that he's better in communicating why Medicare for All, for instance, is a superior policy proposal compared to everything else that's been put out there by his, by the other contenders. But I do want to go to what really stood out to me personally about this debate, which was something that we hadn't seen since the beginning of this election cycle. While Buttigieg was attempting to go after Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren decided to go after Buttigieg. So you have both Bernie and Warren teaming up against Buttigieg, and I love seeing that. So let's take a look at how Warren handled it.
Senator Warren, you were all in on Medicare for All, and then you have since came up with a transition plan. Is it because of the impact on unions?
So I want to be clear. I've been to the culinary unions, healthcare facilities. They're terrific. You don't want to shut them down. You want to expand them. You want to see them all across Nevada and all across this country. But we need to get everybody's healthcare plan out here. Mayor Buttigieg really has a slogan that was thought up by his consultants to paper over a thin version of a plan that would leave millions of people unable to afford their health care. It's not a plan, it's a PowerPoint. And Amy's plan is even less. It's like a Post-it note, insert plan here. Bernie has started very much, has a good start, but instead of expanding and bringing in more people to help, instead his campaign relentlessly attacks everyone who asks a question or tries to fill in details about how to actually make this work. And then his own advisors say, probably won't happen anyway. Look, healthcare is a crisis in this country. My approach to this is we need as much help for as many people as quickly as possible and bring in as many supporters as we can. And if we don't get it all the first time, take the win and come back into the fight to ask for more.
Okay, so I apologize. That was not the clip that I was thinking of, but I thought that Warren's answer, at least about 80% of it, was pretty strong. Didn't like the attack on Medicare for All, specifically the attack on Bernie. And the nonsense about like, oh, his campaign, they attack relentlessly. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, her approach tonight is like you guys. She came up to Bernie and stuff, and maybe didn't land as well in some ways. But the fact that it came in the middle of a bunch of actual punches that were landed, it gives the feeling that, oh man, she got everybody. Whether or not you were paying as close enough attention to realize and maybe compare the facts based off what she did say about Sanders' plan, then you could even go, man, she hit up Amy and that's true. Oh man, she hit up Pete, man, that's true too. Oh, and she hit Bernie, that must be true too. It's the approach in which you do it sometimes, because she does have to differentiate herself from Sanders, and that's what I think her plan was when things started going wrong for her. But she went way too hard to the right to try and differentiate herself, and then end up kind of hurting her. So in this case, Lee, she's like, I need to cloak my attack on him with everyone else's. It's so much easier to attack because they're so much further from my point of view.
Yeah, that's such a good point, because I actually she was way more aggressive toward the other candidates, right? So much so that I forgot that she mentioned Bernie in that answer.
But she went after everybody.
She went after everyone, and she did the sandwich method with Bernie. She started with like, Medicare for All is like a great start. He's got a great start, and then she like criticized his campaign for not wanting to bring everyone in. And understand what she's messaging there. She's messaging, no, we need to work with the people who don't want a single payer system. But I'm telling you guys right now, if we have a candidate who starts from a place of defeat, starts from a place of like, I'm gonna concede or negotiate with people who want to, service their private healthcare donors, then we're not gonna get even a public option. Like, we've already been down this road with the Affordable Care Act. And I think that we can accomplish single payer. I was just in Germany, by the way. They have a public option in Germany. So it totally creates a two-tiered system. The people of Germany feel lucky that they're not in a terrible system that we're experiencing here, where it's just private insurance. But at the same time, if you rely on the public option, you don't get the same kind of treatment because it's not, funded as well. It's a two-tiered system. And so no, we should be fighting for something better, and a single payer system is better. Once you have everyone in the same system, you better believe that the wealthy are gonna make sure that it's working better, right?
Yeah.
But one thing I wanna say that I don't know exactly how you adjudicate this on the stage if you're Bernie Sanders, but he did what I want him to do, which is to bring up, as he does, why is it that you're all saying we can never do this as possible, it's too expensive, and yet all around us there are countries, some of which we might even remember their president's name, who have systems like this. Why is it that we are uniquely incapable of doing this? Is it something about our government? Is it something about our people? Are we just too poor? Are we terrible with money? What is it? And they never have to actually say. They'll say, oh, it's really expensive, but presumably it's expensive anywhere. People get sick, they need treatment, they need medicine. If they can figure it out in other countries, why can't we? And he's right to point it out. I just wish that the moderators will stick to a topic if it's like, Bernie bros. They'll ask multiple questions. I want Biden to say why America is so flawed that we cannot get this done.
Right.
Yeah, and Bernie did say later in the debate, I'll tell you why, because the money that the pharmaceutical industry and the insurance companies are putting into campaigns like Pete Buttigieg's. That was devastating and totally true, and I couldn't believe he said it. So I was thrilled about that. That gets to the heart of the problem, the cancer in our government, which is money in politics. So in that answer with Warren, look, I don't think the attack against Bernie landed. She was referencing AOC saying, hey, maybe we'll get the public option instead. But then Warren at the end said, maybe we'll get something and then build upon it. Well, that's saying the same thing as AOC did. So I don't see how that helps your point. Bernie did give her the legendary squint when she said something that was, but
it was like 3 good face shots, like reactions. As she went target by target, it was like, everyone's like, what, me, why? I didn't do anything.
Yeah, like Klobuchar was like, what, right? And Buttigieg was like,
Yeah, the Buttigieg facial expressions were the best.
Klobuchar must have felt like Rob Stark. It was like, we're allies.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, Jayar. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.